What's up, everybody? My name is Scott Waters. Welcome to No Life to Metal. Going to be doing a What's Spinning today. Just a bunch of CDs that I've been spinning over the past few weeks. A lot of classic metal stuff here because I was just got in the mood to hear some classic stuff. You know, stuff that I know inside and out. I just wanted to hear it again. So, going to start off with some Queensryche, The Warning. Absolutely love this album. Was a huge fan of it when it first came out. I was a huge fan of the EP when it first came out. And so much so that I had that Queensryche logo from the EP painted on the back of my denim jacket. And then when this came out, I painted this image right here on the back of my denim jacket, though I left the old Queensryche logo up top. So yeah, I loved it. Little did I see that this was actually indication of a different direction that this band would be going into. But regardless, the EP and this album, absolutely love them. Never could get enough of it. Just great American power metal. I've heard some people call it progressive metal. Alright. To me it just sounds like classic 80s heavy metal, but you know, whatever you want to call it. What else we got here? Judas Priest's latest studio album, Firepower. Can't get enough of this album. I just think this is fantastic release from them. One of their best albums. Just one of their best albums, period. There's no reason to even say since. It's just a great album. But also, I pulled out Jugulator, just an album I hadn't heard in a long time. Never understood why they used this terribly pixelated version of the cover, as opposed to just using the actual... you can't see it. They have the full thing inside of here. My concert ticket's sitting in there, so you can't see it. Regardless, this is Ripper Owens era, Judas Priest, and I know a lot of people weren't into Ripper Owens, Judas Priest. I liked them. I don't know what the big deal was. Saw them in a club on this tour. Fantastic. I mean, it was a small club. Place was packed. And Ripper was just fantastic. The whole band was fantastic. But two songs in this album I think are some of the best Priest songs ever. Cathedral Spires is a brilliant song. I would love for them to do that song live with Rob Halford singing. And then the song Bullet Train, which is the song that really brought me in and pulled me back. You know, once they announced Halford was gone and they were going to be getting a new vocalist, I mean, I was as skeptical as everybody else was. You know, Halford is an icon. How can you replace him? And Hastings was giving away free cassette copies of a Bullet Train with anybody who bought anything metal from the store that day. And I got that cassette, and man, I played Bullet Train. I played, what was it called? I just said the name of the song, I've forgotten it already. Bullet Train. I pulled Bullet Train over and over and over again. Such a great song. Yeah, that one, Cathedral Spires, and even the title track. Very good stuff from Priest. Yeah, I think they were going for a slightly more modern sound. They were definitely inspired by Pantera, much like on Painkiller. I don't really see Jugulator as that far off from Painkiller. I mean, it kind of has that same vibe to me. It just doesn't have Halford on it, so therefore people don't dig it. Kiss, Creatures of the Night. This is one of the remastered versions from a few years ago. It says it was, you know, remastered from the original master tapes. Sounds as good as the vinyl does to me. Just a classic album. Randy and I, Trog, and I did a you know, best of Kiss video not too long ago. So I got kind of in a Kiss mood for a while and was going through Kiss albums. And Hotter Than Hell, probably one of my favorites from the early years. And just one I hadn't heard it forever. This is Killers. Matter of fact, when we did the video and showed this record, I really couldn't remember any of it. It's just been so long since I gave it a spin. 4 new tracks on here. Just straightforward melodic hard rock, exactly what you might expect from Kiss in the early 80s. Good stuff. Always liked the simplistic cover art. Band looks cool in the front. What were the 4 new songs? I'm a Legend Tonight, Down on Your Knees, Partners in Crime, and Nowhere to Run. And all were Paul Stanley compositions. And here is the EP. Again, this is not the remastered version. I do have the remastered version, which has the live tracks from the Japan tour as bonus tracks. That's great. But I think I like the EP just the way it is. And I like this 5-song version of it quite a bit too, because it has the song Prophecy thrown on the end, which is a song they recorded several years later, but it was a song that was written during this time period. I used to have a bootleg of them playing all these songs live and Prophecy back in the day, and fantastic song. So it fits perfectly on you, even if the production is slightly different from the original EP. I like to rock, basically some live April Wine, Canadian hard rock, very good stuff. This is just one I didn't have until recently and gave it a couple spins. Still need to review it on my site. More live stuff from Halford. This is live at the SAITAMA Super Arena. Rob Halford on vocals, Roy Z on guitars, Mike Davis on drums, Bobby Jarzambek on drums, and Mike Chalasiak. Let's see if I can get this one right. Chalasiak. Mike Chalasiak is the other guitar player. Roy Z is much easier to say. So there you go. Good set. Mostly solo stuff on here. A few Priest tracks on here, and a few fight tracks on here. So, excuse me. What's spinning in the background? This is Armada's Frontline album from 1985. Just straightforward heavy metal, melodic heavy metal from the 80s. Reissue. It was never released on CD before. It's the first time it's been released on CD. I had the original cassette. I've had it for a long time. I just never had the CD because there wasn't one. So glad to finally have it on CD. Therefore, I've been spinning it quite a bit more. I don't play cassettes very often, so excuse me again. Itchy nose. Some Thin Lizzy live at the BBC. Spans the band's entire career. Even has some tracks on here that aren't Thin Lizzy, I believe. Let's see. I'm incorrect. These are all Thin Lizzy tracks. I was thinking there was a song on here that was Gary Moore with Phil Lynott, but that's not this BBC album. Classic live album, UFO, Strangers in the Night, Schenker. This is the CD version that restores the original. It's actually got a couple songs that weren't on the original one. It's got Hot and Ready and Cherry, and it puts them in the correct order that they would have played in concert, which is kind of neat. Instead of just throwing them at the end as bonus tracks, they restored the original concert set list. So I really enjoy that CD version of the album. Budgie, this is a 2 CD box set. It has a nice booklet. I placed the whole thing all the way through. Just really was digging it one day. Put both discs in the CD player and just let them spin through as I was working, and great stuff. I mean, Budgie was just an underrated band. One of the original UK first wave of British heavy metal bands, Budgie. Sircle of Silence. This is the Japanese pressing of their first album. This is David Reese on vocals and Larry Farkas on guitar. Great band. If you ever wonder what happened to Die Happy, after Die Happy broke up, two of the guys from Die Happy ended up forming Sircle of Silence. And Larry Farkas, who was one of the main songwriters for Vengeance Rising and Die Happy, ended up being one of the main songwriters here as well. Greg Chaisson, who was also in Badlands, also formed this band, but by the time this album came out, he was already gone and replaced. David Reese, vocalist on this album, of course sang on Eat the Heat from Accept and Bangalore Choir and other things. But yeah, this is a great album, and thankfully this is one that is going to be coming out again on vinyl on nolifetilmetal Records. Riot, the official box, just spinning some of the Riot stuff. This is cool. I mean, I love bootlegs, and this is just great. All this quality stuff. I mean, it's not like, bad audience recordings where you hear nothing but somebody chewing on popcorn. And this is decent stuff. Most of it is, radio broadcasts or soundboard recordings. So this is the early years, 1980 through 1990. Let's see, let me show these. These are cool. Recent reissues on Girder Records. This is the second album from Betrayal. This is the first album, Renaissance by Death. Both these were just recently reissued. The Passing. This one has the Fear Be Gone single on it, which is the band was experimenting with some industrial stuff going on with that. And then it's also got the early demos on here as well. So this is a really nice release. Both these are coming out on vinyl on Girder Records too for the first time. So glad to have them. Girder Records, I think it's, limitedrunvinyl.com is where the vinyl is, but Girder Records is the company that's selling these. Got quite a few more, so I'm going to have to get a little quicker here. AC/DC, If You Want Blood, You Got It, classic album. I actually pulled the vinyl out and gave it a spin and realized that my vinyl needs to be replaced. It's not in good shape. Didn't realize it was not, so I pulled the CD out and spun the CD instead. 90s, Iced Earth, Something Wicked This Way Comes. Many consider this to be one of their best albums. I wouldn't disagree. Fantastic guitar playing, fantastic songwriting, killer vocals. I've always loved this album. It's got everything on it. Everything from, like, you know, speedy thrash tunes to slower ballad songs. And let's see, John Schaefer, guitar player, Matthew Barlow, vocalist. I love his vocals. At times he reminds me of Paul Stanley, but you can definitely tell who he is. You know who he is. Doesn't sound like a Paul Stanley clone, but I definitely hear some Paul Stanley in his vocals from time to time. But yeah, great album. Love this album. Latest album from Banshee, The Madness. This one will definitely be in my top 20 for 2019. Let's see what else we got here. So we got 3 more here. Some Magnum, some UK prog rock. Love the album cover art. I keep wanting to say Roger Dean. It's not Roger Dean. This is Rodney Matthews. Brilliant artist. I just love his stuff. The guy's got more talent in his pinky than I have in my whole body, and it's just incredible stuff he does. But yeah, it's kind of a mellow album, but it's solid prog. I enjoy it. Megadeth, Countdown to Extinction live version of Countdown to Extinction plus some other tracks. And then finally, this is Spell, and this is For None and All, new wave of traditional heavy metal band Spell. Very good album from them. And that's it. That's my CD, What's Spinning. So let me know what you think of any of those, or if you have any questions or corrections or anything. Love talking to you guys. Try to answer everybody. Sometimes I miss some. I apologize for that, but I really try and get with everybody because I really do enjoy talking to y'all. So appreciate y'all watching. God bless. Stay strong.